Greetings, Marsh here, and welcome to episode 175 of my modded Factorio playthrough. In this episode, we are going to build some more LTN stations, and then stress test the factory with a bunch of requests from them. Enjoy! And one thing to consider is that these tier 2 cargo wagons hold a stack of 60 now instead of 40, so these bob trains, they get quite efficient. Considering that a wagon holds 60 each, and our trains right now are 4 wagons long, that's 240 stacks of resources on a single train, and ideally we'd want to do one train at a time. Well, the problem is our current system here uses storehouses which hold 256. So it would only have 16 stacks left by the time it orders a train, and it might be too late by then. So what we need to do is take this setup and upgrade it. The number of belts will still be the same. We just need warehouses all along instead of storehouses. I did storehouses just to save on steel, but based on the throughput of our trains, this no longer works. So we're going to have to modify it, and I don't know if the dynamic unloading station is in any of these. Probably not. I don't build enough of them for it to really matter. They all tend to be fairly unique. Let's make a blueprint of it so we can set it up how we like. Something like this. Whew! Wow, was not expecting it to take up that much space. Well, kind of goes to show you how small this initial part of the base is compared to what it has expanded to elsewhere. Well, okay then. For now, I'll just copy the end, the part that needs to be upgraded in size. We don't need to worry about the train tracks for now. We do need to upgrade all the power poles though. I mean, we don't have to, but that will complete the pattern here. And we probably want to default this to, I think we were using strong boxes before, just to make sure, unless it's been set, no resources will go out. And those are the belts as they are set, but they don't strictly have to be in those locations. So let's see, to do warehouses, well, they certainly take up more space. The end ones work well enough. It's this corner one that's a little tricky, but can probably mash them in there like that. Oh man, can't walk in there. That's gonna be annoying to deal with anything that comes around, but... And actually, this one is offset just a little bit. We could make it so it doesn't have to have the little thing that goes down there, because that actually makes it wider than it needs to be. There we go. Something like this. Of course, got to connect it to all these poles, that's why they're here. And then when setting trains for it, we'd want to do negative 512 stacks instead of 256. Let's see, let's grab another blueprint so we can make a copy of that, and it goes right next to the train tracks. We'll just have to connect the wires as appropriate. We've got this as well. Let's remove everything that's not strictly required for this station, and I think some of that is bridges and whatnot, but we'll have to fix that. That looks pretty good. We can probably leave these stations as is for now with the 4 inserters on each side of the car. And now we need to bring the right number of resources. It's going to be a little tricky. Let's see. Well, we've got 18 lanes of resources, but it's actually 19 resources because 10 is sharing the same thing there. And each station does 8, so we'll need 3 stations in total. Just occurred to me that although we're upgrading the size of the station to use this, that the trains running are still mostly the 40 slot versions. That's fine. we can just set this to negative 256, just like before, and just change the number around when the trains actually do get upgraded. I mean, we can upgrade them now, but problem is none of the other stations are built for that upgrade. And, you know, I'd have to handcraft the trains and all that, so it doesn't seem worth it to do it right now. Okay, I think I've got enough to give it a shot. So let's go out there and find a spot to build all this. Well, the train tracks are coming in from here. And it looks like we do have a roundabout available. Right here. Probably don't need this power pole here, because we got rails doing the same thing. And throwing power poles in the middle of two rails is a pretty convenient place to put them. Going to cover up a pretty decent patch of oil here, but if we need it later, we'll see what we can do about that. There is a pretty nice Jivolite patch right here we're driving over, but there's another less nice but bigger one above. But we really haven't had any resource problems, in part because I have the settings set so high. And I prefer it that way, so we're not spending the whole game looking for more resources, and instead can worry about expanding the factory. So we've pushed the tracks out here. So now the question is, where do we want to start building? Well, I don't really want to block that. But one thing to note is that these train stations start high and then the resources go down and across just because of their shape. So if we start this up here and the resources go down, then they'll be kind of going straight along here. And there'll be those patches there, but it'll be a straight shot for a long time without anything being in the way. So let's drop a roundabout in here. Going up might block this a little bit. Do we have any other sapphirite patches, or is that the biggest one? That's kind of another thing to consider is, are we blocking the biggest patch of an available resource? And that actually does look like a really big sapphirite patch. So we probably don't want to block that. But then I'm worried if we go up by one, we're going to put one up here and then one down here, and then there's going to be like huge gaps. So for consistency, let's place it down here. And we've got lots of trees and whatnot to clear out of the way, which is a great job for bots. And speaking of sapphirite, almost perfectly on cue, is that we are running out of our main patch. I don't think we've ever actually scanned that with Prospector. Now granted, there's 31 hours left, not to mention all of the infinite mining, which has been going on a long time. I don't know if it's accurate for infinite mining, but it says there's 66 hours left there. But nonetheless, we probably want to upgrade that. Let's get these spots started on these trees. We can go down there and kind of fix that. So we'll need to do 3 stations coming down here. So that's about 1, about 2, and about 3. So probably, I don't know, something like this. And we'll let them do what they can. It's been a long time since we've prospected anything. And actually, there should be the next tier of prospecting available. Not that we necessarily want to do it, because the deeper ore will take more mining time, more electricity, more pollution to do. So with Prospector, it's most optimal if you only scan stuff once you're done with the previous tier. And that said, we probably don't need to worry about it, at least for the time being. And 31 hours is actually kind of a long time. But at 320 hours of gameplay so far on this playthrough, that's not that long in the grand scheme of things. We do have the next tier of miners. The tier 3 miners. I don't think we're really using them for anything. Way faster. So we probably want to build a bunch of those. Whoa. I do not know what happened there. Well, do we have any extra of those? No, those are kind of expensive if I remember. Well, we can make one. Oh, that's gonna take forever with all those pipes. Even with the road, I managed to crash into something. There we go. But yeah, we'll probably want to handcraft some miners, but since we're just starting on a new bus here, I kind of don't want to add anything else to this existing one, because we are about to replace it. Resources are probably like aluminum and bricks, my guess. Or Invar. Oh yes, that's one of the things Invar is actually used for. Let's make like 50 of them. Made it. Well, we can replace what's here. You can see they fill up a belt much easier. But we've been holding on to these prospectors for a while. We'll just plop them in there. Let them do their thing. I don't know exactly how long it takes, but a decent amount of time. And then we can place the rest of the miners. Luckily, Prospector will give us a on-screen warning when they are done prospecting, so we know when to come back. Okay, these power poles are in the way a little bit. They are connected to the signal wire, so I don't want to move them too far. Let's see. So I got the distance on that wrong. Definitely need a lot more open space here. It's amazing how much space all this takes when you actually start building stuff. So you probably want to wait on building the second one until we have an idea of how big they are. Either that or make a pattern with just the whole thing. Okay, so these are the bridges. Okay, and then we had this, which connected right on the end, so we got some water in the way. And already we've made it to where that diagonal road was going upwards. But this went pretty much like right against it, if I remember correctly. Yeah, because that's the only way all the things reach anyway. Okay, pretty close. It just needs the station and something to configure it with. The station we can call main bus unload 1. And we'll make the LTN combinator and remember to hurry up and switch it off so we can change all those settings later. When we make the bigger trains, we'll also have to adjust the request stack threshold. But for now, all of that can remain the same. And we need to connect the wire again. And that should be fully connected. Let's see, this power wire is going in a weird direction, so let's just connect it there. Then we can get rid of it. Decided not to get rid of these in the beginning just because the power lines still are useful. They're still moving power around, so no reason to pick them up until they're actually in the way of something. Got some more trees for the bots. I don't know if I want to try to make a whole new copy of this as one piece. Probably should. So we'll grab the whole thing. Grab this here. No tiles. Train stop names. Then most of it's good. Just got a little bit to remove there. And one more piece. Okay. Now then, when we place this, we want to make sure there's enough space for everything. Wow, that will just barely fit. But I don't know if that would be smart. to leave no gaps at all, because walking through there would be super annoying, even though the power poles reach. But I guess if we put the better power poles in, they would still reach even down here. Okay, well clearly these poles are not working out in their current position. Let's just put new ones down, so they will no longer be in the way. Use the nice longer ones. And now we should have more room for these. Gonna line them up so there's a little bit of space between them. Like right there. And right there. Running out of nanobots, but I suppose that's what regular bots are for. Uh-oh. Running out of fuel. There you go. Chew on some wood. Wow, that's going through fast. Well, I guess because everything was low on charge. Yep. The batteries. I took off the belt immunity equipment because it was constantly draining while it was parked. It's kind of the problem with that item is even when you're not on belts, it's draining. So that's not very convenient. Okay, pretty close on resources. Just need to pick up a little bit more. Let's get these other stations named. Main bus. Unload 2. And 3. Okay. We just need to get this configured, and then we'll see the base get nuked with a bunch of trains going everywhere. Let's make the LTN combinators. Okay, that combinator is off. And that combinator is off. Okay, now we need to get all this set. So we can open this, leave it open, and then come down here to what we have planned. So we need iron, and we need copper, tinned sheet coils, and tinned wire. We don't need lead. And then we need steel plates, Invar plates. And this is a placeholder, probably, I'm guessing, for silver. Yeah. Doesn't go into that much stuff, but... Well, neither does tinned copper wire, though. For cleanliness, I might just give it its own belt. We've got plenty here, regardless. These are some of the resources, so we needed silver. Negative 256. Invar, which is much larger, I think because of throughput reasons. And that gives us 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So which one's missing? Oh, aluminum. Negative 256. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's the first one. We'll need to configure it up there as well, just to make sure these respond correctly. So let's switch this to silver. Not that it really matters, because it seems like there haven't been any problems, but you never know when they're going to come back. And then the next one, we've got bronze, 256. Brass, 256. And glass. Then some other interesting choices. We don't actually have any of these bricks on a train, or stone for that matter. The bricks stack in units of 1,000, including the concrete here. So do we really need a train for that, considering that one drone can move 3,000 bricks at a time? I'm not sure we really need a train. However, stone, probably, since it's just units of 200. So we'll have to bring a drone for this, which dramatically cuts down the number of station slots we're going to need here. But we've got the 3 circuit types, at least that we're currently making. Certainly there'll be other types we might want to send here later. And then the last slot is the stone. So it looks like by changing that out, we actually only needed 2 stations rather than 3. Just barely, because we're only going to have 1 free slot on this once we have stone in there. Now I won't make the stone request now because it's just going to spam us with errors if we do. But hey, it'll be nice to have this here. I mean, certainly we will use it when we deliver more resources that we get from tier 3 ore sorting, so it's not the end of the world that we made 1 too many. But we gotta get this set to all the resource types. I noticed it making a steel plate request, and actually this needs to be updated for steel coils now. Invar I don't think ever really comes in coil form. No. And we could just block those other ones for now since we're not requesting those. We're just requesting these 6. Well, if it made a steel train request, that probably means it's about to drain this out, and now we can add coils. So before we turn this on, let's do that, because otherwise it's just going to complain that steel coils are not available. Then we'll have to wait for it to go through all the steel again, like we are with silver, and then change it when it starts complaining that it doesn't have any. Hey, I think that's the first time I've been in a train and I had to actually wait for another train. I guess that means it's starting to get a little busy. And we need to limit this. And those are already pretty good. Switch these over. Just let that go through its paces. I say we have a nice backup of manganese here, but we'll make it through that before too long. Haven't checked in a while. How's oxygen doing? It seems fine. That the tanks are staying full. Oh, I noticed a little bit still isn't connected there. But we should be good to start making requests and see the magic happen. Of course, our factory is currently in the process of researching stuff, so this will extra nuke it. But let's see how it works. I don't know if we've enabled 2 of these stations at the same time before. But there it goes. No steel, no silver, that's to be expected. No station with electronic boards, but that's because one was just made, so it's filling that up. It'll do what it can when it can. And as far as LTN is concerned, we've got lots of stuff in transit. Lots of requests of things that simply aren't available yet because they were previously requested. Although it says no station available requesting those circuit boards, so I want to make sure that this is on the right network. Ah, it is not. So not only the coil network, but the electrical network as well. And that should get some of it. I mean, some of these numbers are pretty low, but it should make request for these numbers that are available. See, did the glass train beat everybody else because it had more inserters? There we go. Oh, that just occurred to me that none of these things were set properly, so no draining will occur. Bronze. Brass. And then this one right here can be the glass. And then the rest of them are circuits, but we're getting deliveries in here, so I kind of want to get them all set up. Iron. Copper. Tin. Looks like we're still getting warnings there, but I've got a lot going on right now. So I want to get this configured first. Let's see, silver. Oh, no path. Well, of course. Then we need steel. And then Invar. I don't know if these are going to actually be in the right order or not. Kind of don't like that all this is happening so quickly. Whoops, didn't have it all set up in time. It'll be super annoying. I have to change these orders later. So it's aluminum, silver, aluminum, silver, then the two steels. Okay, I think that's all configured. But the trains are going to start getting mad. They don't have anywhere to go. Yeah, a lot to follow right now. I mean, it seems to basically be working. And stuff begins. We'll worry about fixing that later. Let's see, we needed to get this one configured. And the order was... yeah, it's doing those. And then glass. And then let's do the circuit types after that. What does LTN say? Requesting steel, but it's probably getting made. Requesting silver, but it's getting made. So it's basic circuit boards and electronics. Is this not considered its own zone? No, it is. It just seemed like it stopped for a weird reason, but they're all separate zones, so it should have worked. Meanwhile, how is the ore bus doing? It's probably doing a lot. Really, though, it's doing pretty good. No basic circuit board still. And we are keeping up just fine with catalysts. So no basic circuit boards. Ah, well, that can explain it. The warehouses are completely nuked. And the circuit bus is basically going at full blast here. Making those brown circuit boards. So there's not much else we can really expect right now. Why did this train stop? I do remember saying something about a merge delivery, but that train's just sitting there, so it got delivered what it thought it needed to get delivered. Well, we'll have to keep an eye on that, see if it happens again. So much going on now. Might need to make some rail crossings. Okay, well, the train left, but actually, now that I think about it, the fuel arm was swinging a lot. And that counts as something that it will wait for. So request is 9.8. And when the count gets to 9.8, it should shut it down. And it does. So it's probably working alright. It's just, this is an awful lot of stuff that this factory has to do now that it wouldn't normally be doing. But it's great to test things. And I see we have the alert that Prospector is done, so we'll have to go down there later. But all these trains are making it in with all the resources. Let's see, which one was this supposed to be? Okay, that's silver. And that one is Invar. Is Invar just in the very back? Yeah. So I'm like, I know we have a lot of Invar. But it's probably because steel was monopolizing, well, all of the steel. And it wasn't much left over to mix in with nickel. Well, I see that this is done with sapphirite. So we can get rid of that. We'll probably get rid of the infinite, because that's not really something we need to track. Then we'll come in here and grab all of that for the vein. So now we have another 2 million sapphirite. And we'll go down there later to move those radars. Well, so far so good. I know we're just short on some resources. We might have to increase those outputs later. But it seems to be doing a pretty good job of getting through everything. And the bus is doing pretty good. It's pretty quiet. I know a lot's happening, but nothing's clogged anymore. That's a lot of iron and a lot of copper getting used. So no basic circuit board still. Yeah. Because the way the factory works is it's basically prioritizing the regular circuits over the basic ones, so that warehouse is going to completely fill up first before it gets to the basic ones. And silver is going down, but it might take a while still. Well, this seems to be working pretty well. It's just clearing out of basically the buffer. This one's a little bigger than down here because it took a little longer to set up, but we're short on the resources that are still being produced. But otherwise, we look pretty good. Anything we've requested has more or less shown up. Okay. Well, that's looking good, so let's go down there and fix those prospector warnings and get full productivity out of our mine. And I left these belts here to make it easier to just drop these back in. Although it does look like the positions of some of these things are a little out of the way. Okay, that's pretty good. Not terribly sure why it was set up this way. I think it was to prioritize acid mining over non-acid mining, but whatever. It's working. It's good enough for me. And that's the end of this episode. On the next one, we're going to work on getting the other resources we need to our new bus. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.